I'd like to switch gears and spend a few minutes now talking about career development beyond the initial onboarding programs. One of the interesting statistics that I found is we did a research study last year with nearly 800 information security professionals, and not surprisingly, about 90% said that they're learning new skills every single month. But what really surprised me was that 62% of them indicated that they weren't really sure that they were learning the right things or what it is that they should be learning. I mean, they knew they should be learning, but they weren't sure, what. Um, and it was, in that survey, there was people with 3 years experience, 5 years experience, 10 years experience. So it wasn't just entry level folks, that maybe needed a little more clarity around their career progression or skill development. So I'm curious if you guys find similar things in your organization with your IT and security folks and how you approach that. So maybe we could start with you, Jason.
Sure. So I'll preface this with there's no silver bullet, right? There's no one solution that fits all or even fits most in some cases. So something that I learned throughout my career, and especially here at Booz Allen, is that while we used to focus really on role-based learning plans and curating experiences specifically for a role, the roles will vary from company to company, and it could be based on the size of your organization. So we've really shifted gears, and we're focusing more on the top skills that are in demand versus prescriptive career paths. So in terms of what we have, we have websites, internal websites that employees have access to, and the way that our cyber learning website is structured is in a way where we really touch on the top categories. And when I say categories, that could be offensive cyber, that could be defensive cyber, cyber engineering, or risk management framework, you name it. And then once you actually go into one of those sites, we introduce you to the overall, definition of that space. So if it was defensive cyber, we would talk about what is a blue team. And then in addition to that, we also do still have some role-based recommendations, but it's not a checklist, right? So an individual can go in there and self-select which courses or articles or resources make the most sense. Something else that we've also added to most of our skill areas and even in some of the role areas are day in the life of videos, right? So if it was for an individual that's working in a network operations center, it could be a day, or in their case, it could be a night, right? Because that's a 24/7 operation. But really, we want to make sure that they understand the area, they get a perspective from different individuals, not just from Booz Allen, but in the industry as a whole. And then we start to narrow down on some of the really specific skills. And so that could be cloud security, it could be threat hunting, it could be, identity access management, something that Katie referenced earlier. But yeah, it's really evolved to more skill focused versus role focused.
Yeah, and then over to you, Katie, for kind of how you approach that ongoing skill development.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy, you're absolutely right. There's no silver bullet to this, right? And it's very different for each individual, right? What's going to be helpful to them. So I think we try and make sure, one, that we're giving people a number of options, right? It's not just only point in time in-person training, but also providing them tools that are available on demand, which also helps keep people busy, right? If they have downtime in a way that's going to ensure that they feel productive and that they're using that time to grow their careers. We also make it a part of our program to really involve leaders at different levels within our various service areas. We're very oriented around the different services we deliver. So for instance, we know that, that building privacy professionals is going to be important to us. And so in order to do that, we make sure that we have some of our most senior privacy professionals involved in the building of our learning paths and the content of those courses, especially the ones that we're building internally. externally, because as I said before, it's really a mix between the things that we build internally that are very specific to the way that we deliver in our methodologies, as well as, industry best practices or common tools that our clients are going to be looking for us to be a part of bringing into their organization. And so by having those professionals be involved from the ground up and part of that content, it's another way of help building that next generation of professionals. And they also contribute to recommendations, right, for different tools and things that they're seeing out, in the field, or that their clients are using, or that their friends are using maybe, right, and bring that back. And so we have a really open door policy with, people being able to kind of contribute to what ends up being a pretty curated path. And then again, we have those kind of third party, on-demand opportunities for learning at all times.
New episodes of Cyberwork are available every Monday at 1 p.m. Central. And don't forget to claim your free month of Infosec skills. Sign up using the code CYBERWORK and you'll get unlimited access to hundreds of courses, hands-on labs, certification practice exams, skills assessments, and more. Use code CYBERWORK for Infosec skills.